the new presenter option in Zaption, you'll now see when you hover over your tours that you've created that you have this new present option. So if I click on that, it pulls up this screen telling everybody in the classroom what they should be doing. So everybody in the classroom should be going to zaption.com/join and entering in this unique presenter code. So my students will do exactly that. They'll go to zaption.com/join, type in that code, and press submit. If your students have Zaption accounts, then it would just know who they are. If your students do not have Zaption accounts, then they can go ahead and type in their name here and press continue. Going back to the teacher's end, once the students have joined, you would start the presentation. At this point, everybody's viewing the presentation on my screen. So as a teacher, go ahead and just project this so that the class is all viewing on one screen. You'll see that I have some teacher controls right here. I can see if anybody has raised their hand. At this point, nobody has, and I'll explain that in a moment. I can also ask quick questions, so those are questions that I just want to ask on the fly. I can use a pointer option, so you'll see that I get this red dot if I want to explain something, underline something, point something out. And I also have this marker tool, and that allows me to actually annotate on a slide if I wanted to point something out specifically or tell them to pay attention here. So as the video is playing on the main screen, this is the teacher view. I'm going to quickly go over to the student view. So the student sees this. Right now, I can just raise my hand, and that just means submitting a question. So I don't actually click anywhere, I just go ahead and ask a question. And I press submit. So now my question has been sent to my teacher. If I have another question, I can go ahead and do that. So I'm not limited to asking just one question during the tour. So let me go ahead back to the teacher view so you can see what that looks like. So in the teacher end, you can see that 2 hands were raised, or this person asked 2 questions. 1 question at this point and 1 question at this point. So I kind of get a glimpse of where in the video a question was asked. If I click, then I actually see what the student asked and a timestamp. I can show names and hide names as I please. Then if I click over here, I can see that they asked this second question right here. I can show all comments, and I see all comments throughout the video, and this is scrollable if I had a lot of them. Let me continue in the video and say right here, I wanted to ask a question to the whole class, but a question on the fly, one that I hadn't already put into my Zaption tour. I can ask an open response question or a thumbs up and thumbs down. So let's start with an open response. So once I ask that question, this is the teacher view. From the student view, you can see that the question is please explain, and they would answer in the space here, submit their answer. And then on the teacher view, I can show responses as I want. So I can show the responses right here. I can also hide them. I would want to hide the responses until people had submitted, and then maybe I want to show responses so we can review as a whole class. I can also lock the student responses at any time so that students cannot type anymore. This 100% right here is just showing that 100% of participants have responded to this question. I only have 1 student in this tour right now, and that student has answered. The other thing that I can do in the quick question is ask a thumbs up and thumbs down. So if I ask this question from the student view, how is this going? Thumbs up, thumbs down. They submit their answer. And again, on the teacher end, I just see a bar chart of the percentage of students who said thumbs up and the percentage of students who chose thumbs down. Finally, let me just continue playing my tour quickly. I want to do one more hand-raising question, just so you can get a better sense of how this hand-raising and the bar chart works. So this could be a really cool feature for kind of seeing where problem spots were in the video, or maybe even where people had a major reaction in the video. Say that you prompted students to raise their hand anytime they saw something specific in the video. You were asking them to look for something. You could kind of see where clusters of your students were all responding in the same way. So that could be a neat application too. So that's an overview of presenter from the teacher end and the student end. Again, just for clarity, the teacher is the only one who is showing the video, so it's just streaming from the teacher's computer. And then the students on their devices, they are responding to any quick questions that the teacher asks, and they also have the ability to ask questions by raising their hand throughout the video. Hope you enjoyed.